haven't been so excited for an interview in a very long time. Today I have Aaron Wagner from Lead Within on the show. Aaron, welcome.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm really excited to be here with you today.
And the thing that I love so much about Aaron, can I give the backstory about how we connected and met?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
it's awesome. Aaron heard me on a podcast. He reached out to me because he was interested in my Art of Reinvention program. And he booked a call with me and he's like, well, I'm really interested in this program. And I really actually am in this season where I want to meet a bunch of people. So I thought I'd book one of these calls and talk to you. And then after the call, he's like, I'm interested in your program, but it says it's for women. Will you let me in? And I'm like, yes, because it's not really just for women, but I feel like women are end up resonating with me. I would say like 5% of my clientele are men and 95% are women. But I'm so excited that you're here today because you are just a joy in so many people's lives. And I'm just excited to share what you're up to. So thank you for saying yes.
Oh, Tracy, and I haven't told you this story before, but every year at the beginning of the year, I'll set goals for that year. And one of them that helped me meet you was like, oh, I need to meet more people. But there was a goal that kind of like evaded me for several years, which was like find a mentor. And I just couldn't find one. I put out in the universe, couldn't find one. So now here you are on the other side of the country with a totally different background, running a program. It's like, hey, this is for women. I'm like, I'm not that. And so here you are. So I'm just really grateful that you've been in my corner, and I'm grateful to, yeah, be here with you now.
I'm really excited about what you're up to. So before we dive in, why don't you give us a little, or as we dive in, I should say, why don't you give us a little background of your history and sort of your career and that's leading up to what you're doing now from Lead Within?
Yeah, so I'm helping middle managers now, and it really starts because I've been stuck in the middle my whole life. So I was
Are you a
the
middle child?
middle, I'm the middle kid. I grew up in the middle of the US and moved away to go to school. And when I went to school, I started to be really inspired by professors that talked about consulting and helping leaders. So I started getting into that and started teaching leadership programs to nonprofit spaces where I was at the time. Then I moved into real estate and I went through some of the middle management stuff myself and then started coaching some of those middle managers, went back to school and got my master's in organizational leadership and change management, collected a few certifications along the way. But it's kind of been a whole journey throughout the whole time, like being stuck in the middle from a young age all the way through now. And now here we are helping middle managers grow and be better versions of themselves.
I've talked to you about this a lot, but what is
For
the
sure.
main problem that you see happening with middle managers in corporate America, in small companies, in tiny companies, all of
Yeah,
it?
there's a few main problems facing middle managers right now. The first is that it's a really high stress, high burnout kind of role because you're stuck in the middle. So you have to manage up and then you also have to take care of the team below you. And that requires a lot of skill set, requires a lot of practice and knowledge. And so it's stressful. That's part one. And then the second part is that most people in that role don't have tools and resources. And
Mm.
so if you Google anything about middle management or talk to anyone in middle management, there's like three-fourths of all middle managers would say they don't have ongoing tools and support and training because a lot of those tools, if you read leadership books and some of these things, they're geared towards the senior leaders, the executive leaders, the ones who have the ability to flip a switch and change a culture and change a policy and change these things. But when you're stuck in the middle, you don't have that. And same with a lot of the leadership tools that are out there, they're just limited. That it doesn't really apply to you because you don't always have all the control as a middle management person, but you still have to take care of people and lead people, but you're more limited. So it's a really hard spot to be in.
I bet. And they're not getting a lot of support.
No.
Why
No, they
is
don't have
that?
a lot of support. Yeah, I read an article recently, Tracy, that said 70% of middle managers said they don't have support. But then when they asked executive leaders if they were giving support, like 75% of them, so a higher percentage, said, oh, yeah, we for sure don't give them support. So, like, they actually know it's a bigger problem than the people in the spot. It's like, guys, what are we doing here?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So when you came to me, you had this idea. You've been working a corporate job. Am I allowed to say that? Yes. And you're
Absolutely.
still in corporate,
Yeah, still doing it.
but you're so passionate about helping middle managers. And so if anyone has a spouse or if you're still working in corporate and you're in middle management, you guys must talk to Aaron because he is going to be your biggest cheerleader. I don't know if a cheerleader, cheer captain,
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll
cheerleader,
take
cheer
that.
something.
Absolutely. Yes.
And he's also going to really support you. He's starting some middle management coaching and leadership support because you really believe. I mean, it makes so much sense too that the people in the middle are the ones that probably make the most impact in a company.
Yeah,
Right. So
absolutely.
what was that transition that you wanted to launch Lead from Within?
Yeah, I mean, there's a kind of a couple big ones. So, like for me, the why I care about the middle management seat is that I've been through it. And when I first got into middle management, like officially, I got a director title and I moved across the country away from my support system and friends and family. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do this thing. I'm gonna be awesome at it. And then I got there, Tracy, and it sucked. It was really, really hard to the point where like I went to the doctor and he was like, Aaron, you're so stressed out. Like you
Wow.
don't try to eat better. Like this weekend, just try to sit on a couch and don't do anything. He goes, if you try to eat better or work out, he's like, I'm afraid you might break. And just him saying that to me, like a doctor, just saying like, just chill out, dude, made me just weep on the spot because it
Oh,
was just so hard and I felt seen for the first time in months. And so I went through that experience. So I started building some of the leadership development programs inside of the industry that I was in. But one of the shifts that happened, and I know we've talked about this, but only a little bit, this fall, like the fall of 2024, I went through just a ton of transition just personally. I turned
mhm.
40. You know, when you have big birthdays that end with
Yep.
zeros, there's like a reflection point. I also
Welcome
moved
to the
into
better
an,
half of your life.
I know. So I was like, okay, I finally figured out some dumb stuff not to do. So I turned 40. I got married. I moved into a new house. So all these are big transitions. I also said goodbye to like my sweet puppy of like 10 years, passed
Oh,
away
I'm
of
so
cancer.
sorry.
So all that happened in like a 90-minute window or a 90-day window, not 90-minute, 90-day window.
I'm like, wow, that's fast, 90 minutes.
Yeah, so I wish it was 90 minutes, but I went through it. And when the year changed over, all that reflection, and I was like, I just have to do something about all these things. Like, I care about these people in middle management, and I've cared about them very much so in the industry that I've been in, but it also felt like it wasn't enough. Like, I felt like I had to broaden it out and say, oh, these things that I'm learning. And I talked to other people in other industries. Like I got a message today from someone who's in middle management in the healthcare field.
Mm,
And even she's like, oh, all these things apply to me. It's like, yeah, this, all of us stuck in the middle. It doesn't matter what industry we're in. So this year it's like, I don't know how to do this, but we have to go help more people.
right. Oh, it's so exciting. So tell me a little bit more about how you work with people at Lead Within, Lead from Within.
Yeah, we do it in a lot of ways. So right now we put out a lot of content to just help people get things as quickly as possible on all the socials and LinkedIn,
Social media
newsletters.
is the best. I didn't mean to talk over you, but it's
Please.
so good. Where can let's plug your Instagram right now because
Okay.
every time it pops up in my feed, I'm like dying laughing.
All right, so my Instagram is just lead.fromwithin, and there's no I before the N. So from within is one word. And from there, you can do all the link tree stuff to see the TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn and newsletters and all the stuff that comes with it. But Instagram is kind of like the home hub for all the stuff there.
I love it. Okay, so continue.
Yeah, so we built those things, and then with some of the framework, we're just starting to do more one-on-one coaching. I think likely we'll move into some courses here in the future. Hopefully this year, this fall, we'll move into some more courses. But right now, it's just one-on-one coaching to help leaders really kind of learn things for themselves, so they can learn and adjust and grow and be the best versions of themselves and take care of the teams around them.
Yeah, that's so great. And so when you're working in a one-on-one capacity, what have been some of the shifts that you've seen with people that you've worked with?
Yeah, it's a learning your blind spots. So all of our tools, like we have some workbooks that we've created, they all kind of go off of our middle manager success framework, which is lead yourself, which is learning your blind spots and being self-aware. Lead others, so like understand the organization you're in, and then lead with impact. So some of the tools and strategies and change management frameworks and just things that are out there in management in general. So once we go through those pieces, it's really the biggest change in people, and even for myself when I go through these things, is just when you highlight a blind spot, just something that you hadn't seen or something that you believed in yourself, like, oh, I'm really good at this. And then you ask everyone around you, like, hey, am I really good at this? And they're like, nah, not really. Like, Aaron, your Zoom face really is bad. You need to work on it. I'm like, dang it. Okay, I'll try to be better. So it's really learning those blind spots because we all have them. Like, there's just no way around it. And when you don't get feedback as a middle manager, sometimes those blind spots go unchecked. So some of these
Right.
tools and resources just help leaders learn from themselves how to be better.
Did you walk through all parts of the Lead from Within framework? We talked about blind spots.
Yeah, so the blind spots come in with, so yeah, the real framework is the middle management success framework, which is those three pillars: lead yourself, lead others, and then lead with impact. Those three things. And we always start with the person. That's where it's like success comes from within, real leadership comes from within. So we start with that person first. But the trick when we develop leaders is that any one of those three spots can be a thing that makes a person fail in a management role. So if they know all the tools and resources and they know all the organization, but there's something wrong with how they lead, or there's just something really not quite lined up with who they are, they'll likely fail. Same way, if you're awesome as an individual and you know all the tools, but you don't understand the organization you're in, you'll fail. And same way, if you understand the organization and you're a great leader, but you don't have any of the tools to do it, then you'll also fail. So it's kind of like this three-legged tripod, the framework is, because there's likely as all of us, there's usually spots in all three that we can improve on, but there's usually a glaring one that you don't see right away. We're like, oh, this is why. Like, I get the company, I know all the tools, but nobody listens to me. It's like, well, yeah, because you're really demanding when you speak. And when you're demanding, people don't want to listen to you, and then you can't be effective. And so that one piece unlocks the whole thing for the success to come out of the middle.
That's amazing. And you've done such a great job supporting people in that. In your opinion, I mean, obviously the lead from within framework is the best framework, just because I know you and I know how patient you are, and you are like a fan favorite over around here in our world. What makes the framework different from how middle managers are actually coached? I mean, I know that they don't get a lot of coaching. I know that they don't get a lot of support, but how have you shifted that in this?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that question, because it's really like understanding the blind spots. I shared this with someone last week, and I said, here's the problem with leadership books is I read a lot of books now. And the problem with leadership books, Tracy, is that they're made of paper and they don't give you a reflection. So sometimes you read these ideas in a leadership book and you say, oh, I do that. Oh yeah, I for sure do that. And then the book doesn't tell you otherwise. So going through a framework and having someone like me who's outside of your normal life just look at the things with a little less bias, then I can act as a mirror, and the framework acts as a mirror and says, yeah, that's an idea. You think you're doing a good job at this, but maybe here's the reality of things that like might need to be shifted and adjusted. And that mirror is what highlights oh, now I know how to move forward in this thing a little bit more clearly. Like, I know how to change these things, where you can read the books, you can go to the conferences, you can go to the webinars, but again, all those things don't reflect yourself back to you. And when you learn new things, you have to just apply them to yourself. And that can be a hard thing to do when it's a thing you can't see.
What's been the most impactful leadership ideology that you've learned, implemented, and executed?
There's a bunch that are really, really helpful. I feel like this year, the one that I've dove into more is like the working genius model. So I got certified a few weeks back, and all the people at Table Group and Patrick Lencioni's team, all those people, they're absolutely wonderful. But I really liked that framework to help coach leaders, because it helps them see themselves, and it helps them see their team, and it helps them see it really quickly. So there's a lot of assessments and personality type. There's a lot of things you can do, but a lot of those things require really learning and understanding, and it takes some time. Where I like the working genius one because it's just a few easy steps, and you're like, oh, this is why I always get mad at Frank. It's like, oh, he's always trying to do this in a meeting, and I'm always trying to do this in a meeting. And like, oh, that finally makes sense to me.
Do you want to just break down the 6 types of working genius really quickly so people hear it?
Yeah, I want to make sure that I say them right. But there are 6 types. So the first one, it goes for any. So first, be clear, the working genius, everyone has them, but there's 6 things. And there's 2 of them that you're naturally really gifted at and enjoy doing. There's 2 that you're probably good at. And then there's 2 that you're probably not so good at. So it's how you process it, but then it's also how ideas get made. So the first 2 kind of going in order is, first is wonder. So you're just kind of like, that's the question mark person of like, hey, could we do this better? So that's kind of something someone naturally does when a new idea gets started. The next one is invention, which is they just like to create out of nothing. I think you are this way, Tracy. I think I'm this way. I just like to make up stuff. The next thing is discernment. So you kind of have this natural ability to say, okay, this is right or this is wrong. It's kind of a gut feeling. I
Mhm.
find that discernment people can normally really quickly articulate something. Like if it's not right, they immediately, like they're like
They
a,
know.
yeah, they immediately know. So after discernment, then you have enablement, which is just a person who helps get things done. And
Hmm.
then after that is a galvanizing person who helps talks other people and helps get everyone else on board,
Motivates.
motivates,
Activator.
encourages. A lot of leaders fall into that category. And then lastly is tenacity. So someone who just enjoys getting things done. And
Hmm.
so if you know those things about yourself, then you can really highlight your strengths. Like I know there's a couple people on my team that are higher on enablement and galvanization and tenacity. They're really good at getting stuff done, which is a really good pair for me because I really like to build things. So then I
Hmm.
say, okay, here's the thing I built. Can you help me do it? And then they just execute it. And so having those things together helps you make sense of people quickly. It also helps you understand teams because when someone's not like you, it doesn't always get translated. Like I've seen a lot of discernment people. It's such a beautiful, powerful gift to be able to just spot if something's not right. But often those are the people in meetings that are say, "Oh, that person's difficult. That person's always complaining." And I'm like, "No, they're not. That person can just see through all the mess really quickly."
They're like, this is the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah. Like I've been that way, Tracy. I've been in organizations and I actually used to talk to owners and I would say, I can feel like I can see a glass falling off the table in slow motion and it drives me crazy because I want to catch it, but nobody else even sees the glass. And
Hmm.
so like I can see down the road and be like, oh, I can immediately see how this is a problem in 3 months or 6 months or a
Yeah.
year. But that's just the
Wow.
discernment piece. Now, if you say, now, Aaron, here's a 25-page checklist to go do it, I'd be like, no, I don't, I don't want to do that. So like knowing that framework helps too.
That's really interesting. I always like want to think about, I mean, I'm definitely like the invention one. I think I'm also wonder, and
I
I
could
think
see
I'm a
that.
galvanizer because activator is like one of my top core strengths on StrengthsFinder.
Yep.
And max so is maximizer, which I think is the same thing as the wonder. Maximizer is wanting to improve things.
Yeah, making things better. Just wondering if there's a better way to do something.
Yeah, it's or like always wanting to improve it. It's not for me though, it's not necessarily like optimization. It's like how can we make like it's more of like a idea.
Yeah, or just like fine tuning it. Like
Yeah.
some of the things like we're talking about, like social media and the videos and some of the stuff. Like for me, I'm similar on the maximizer stuff, and it's hard for me to put out videos because it's like, oh, this could be better. I could make it
Mhm.
sharper, or I could edit it better. And then in the past, that has been the reason why I didn't put out anything. And now it's like, okay, no, it's fine. Just let's go
Yeah, I
because
didn't
that
really
tenacity
understand what
piece.
that meant till I was talking with Petra the other day when she was Petra Krebs, who will be on this podcast at some point, was also in the Art of Reinvention.
Amazing.
And she
She's
was telling
amazing.
me a little bit more about Maximizer. And I was like, oh, because I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Like, do I make things bigger? Like, she's like, you want to make things better. And I was like, oh, that's the thing that drives my team crazy when they bring me an idea. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work. We need to do it this way. And they're like, so I think I need to work on the messaging around it.
Oh, Tracy, I had that exact same conversation with Petra. She's like, "You're a maximizer, and this is why you drive people crazy." I was like, she said the same thing to me. I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to work. Like, I just want it to be better all the time. And
Yeah.
sometimes good is good. It doesn't always have
Yep.
to be best. It's just let
Yep.
good be good.
Yes. And
That's hard to do.
it's so hard.
Yeah, it
But
is.
also drives me crazy because I'm like, why can't I just be okay with how things are? I just want to keep improving it.
I know. I mean, it's what makes things good. It's what makes the things you touch better. But it is a little tormenting sometimes. You're like, oh, I know I could just, if I had another
Like a
day,
lot of extra work.
I could just make it a little bit better. And then like I show people the before and after I made it better, and they're like, I can't tell the difference. I'm like,
I know.
what?
You're like, but it's so much better.
I
I know.
spent 4 extra hours on that. How can you not tell that that's better? You know?
Oh gosh, we are very similar in a lot of ways. That's why I get such a kick out of I don't know anything about middle management, but I get such a kick about how your social content. You guys have to follow Aaron. So Aaron, I want to just make a little bit of a pivot here.
Mhm.
You know, when you came to me about six or so months ago and you were looking for help and looking for mentorship and wanting to potentially pivot and launch this business and everything, what was going on for you at that time?
That's a good question. So, like, again, I'd kind of come off of that season where just a lot of things were moving at a really quick rate, and some things I didn't see coming. Some stuff was planned, some stuff I didn't see coming. And so, just starting the new year, feeling when stuff finally slowed down, I was like, oh, these things have been alive in me for a long time. So, like, if
Mm.
like my long-term friends, it's like, oh, these are things that I've talked about wanting to do when I was 20 or 25, or there's
Right.
just things that have always been there, but I felt like I didn't have enough school, or I didn't have enough experience, or I just maybe felt like I wasn't enough to do it. And so kind of where I was at 6 months ago was kind of just like it hit the bright lights turned on, and I said, oh, I just have to do it. I don't know how to do it. Like I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to begin. And I even know some of the like Art of Reinvention calls with you that sometimes I left frustrated because I was like, I just don't know enough yet. I just want to do this thing, but I don't know how to do it. And so where I was 6 months ago is just I just need to find help
To
to
get
get
there.
it moving, to get it started.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your experience in the program.
Oh, I love the Art of Reinvention. So there is a lot of good things that come from the Art of Reinvention. I would say one of the first things that stuck out to me, or like when I think back on it, going through it was some of the self-learning that I went through. So like my own personal like core values and the stories through my life where like I hadn't pieced it always together. Like I hadn't pieced it together that I had only worked for founder and entrepreneur led companies my entire life. Like I started working for a family member for cash when I was like 13 years old,
Mhm.
all the way through, coffee shops in college and big mega church, like all these different things where it's like, oh, I've been in this same type of organization. I've been in these same types of things. So being able to like see how my stories and the things I care about all touch together was a big thing for me in the program to, yeah, I don't think I would have figured that out on my own. And I hadn't yet, all 40 years. I hadn't figured out that, oh, all these things have kind of culminated, like it all came to a point here and I hadn't seen it yet. So
Mhm.
going through that program really helped me see it with a lot of clarity.
I love that. I love that. What would you say to someone who's thinking about joining the Art of Reinvention?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just just do it. Yeah, you told the story where I heard on podcast. I have a really like visceral memory of it because I was like outside doing yard work, and my wife, who had heard me process all this turmoil of feeling like stuck or there's more I wanted to do and more I wanted to give, and she heard it first and sent it to me and said, "Aaron, listen to this." And so when I listened to it, it's like if anyone is in that spot where you're like, "Oh, I feel stuck," or I feel like there is something more that I should be doing, or there's something I should shift into, but I can't see the pool to jump off the diving board. Like I don't see where I'm going or what I'm doing. And so if you're in that spot, I would say I don't know a better tool that helps. Similar to the frameworks that we were talking about earlier, where it's like Art of Reinvention, you are in a community, you do have mirrors, you do get to see yourself and learn from yourself. So like you kind of
Mhm.
learn a lot about yourself through the way, like the process. So if anyone's feeling on the fence about joining Art of Reinvention because they have those feelings, and they should probably do it because there's few tools that will help you uncover those things that way.
I love that. Thank you, Erin. So, for anyone who wants to get in touch with you, you also have a podcast. You want to talk about that?
Oh, it's just starting. So you won't be able to find it yet. So we're in the spot of the podcast where we are getting things dialed in, and it's the maximizer thing where it's like I probably should have released it 6 months ago, Tracy, but it has to be a little bit better. And so we're working on stockpiling all those things. So the podcast is coming. The newsletter just started and started coming out weekly 3 weeks ago. And so
So
a lot of
excited.
those tools are all coming out too.
Where does everyone find Erin Wagner?
I am all over the place now. I wouldn't have been able to say that 6 months ago, Tracy, but I'm on all sorts of social media platforms that I didn't even know I needed to be on. But I'm on all of them now. The fastest way to find me is Instagram. So if you go to lead.fromwithin on Instagram, Aaron Wagner, you can find me and all of those sources there. So if you shoot me the DM, if you send me a message, comment on something, then I can get in touch with you. And a lot of the people I've started to work with in this coaching, that has been some of the things. Like I've got to meet some fun people, even outside of the US.
Oh, great.
Surprisingly, I'm getting all sorts of messages from people that don't live in the US. But Instagram's the fastest way to find me and get a hold of all of the stuff that we're doing.
Amazing. Thanks for being here, Erin.
It's my pleasure.